So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 7th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 18th is 15% off chocolates, 15% off wines and spirits, and $10 off filet mignon per pound. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Strap up your headgear and try not to hit the mat too hard. This is Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning.
Facts don't lie. Wrestling is it's a pretty big deal in the Big Ten, so it's a pretty big deal to us.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by Stevens & Smith Construction. Here is your host, Mark Manning.
Oh, boom. It's Tuesday, which means Takedown Tuesday on the Ticket. DP, we got a good one for you in this hour. And again, I apologize in advance because this dude comes in and I can't ask him the 948 questions I want to ask him. So I will do my best. To do that, you can be a part of what we're doing. 402-464-5685. If you got questions, you got opinions, you got comments, things you want to get into the conversation, please feel free to do so. Also, you can follow live on the streams, Facebook, YouTube, X, and Allo, channel 961, Amazon Prime if you're fancy. If you're just fancy and you feel like being Prime today, go ahead and jump over there as well. Austin, let the fine folks know how this gets done each week.
That is through our friends at Stevens & Smith Construction. They're an employee-owned company with nearly 250 employees with over 2,000 years of service combined. They lead the industry as a full-service concrete company specializing in residential and commercial foundations and flat work. Stevens & Smith has locations in Lincoln, Omaha, and Kansas City. You can check them out at Stevens, STEPHENS, and Smith.com.
Thank you, kind sir. Greatly appreciate it. We put something in the box. Let's set the temperature if we would.
Dlagnev trying to get him to the back. Can he do it? The last match position and a lot of time left. There it is. Tervel Dlagnev. national champ with the fall in the second period.
Wow. I think one of the announcers said it'd be a low-scoring match. I don't know who that was, but what an impressive performance by Tervel.
National champion, Olympian, and now assistant coach for your Fighting Huskers wrestling program. Tervel Dlagnev joins us once again. Coach, thank you for doing this.
Glad to be here. It's awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Okay, so again, and apologizing in advance because there's no way to get to all the stuff that I want to talk about. But I was told this thing that made me smile ear to ear, and then it just set me off in a funny kind of way. I am told, when asked who the best dancer in the Nebraska wrestling program, your name was, you were a unanimous first choice.
Wow.
As the best dancer in the wrestling program.
We stink, huh?
Talk to me. What is happening? Wait a minute. Coach, dancer. And they said, and badass was the word that was used.
Wow. Well, I'll give you the backstory.
Okay.
So it's you ever seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
Yes.
Okay, so the premise of that movie is the kid's not smart, just things in his life happen to unfold in a way that he knew the answers to all the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they asked the questions he knew. He wasn't super smart. He just knew the questions. So the way I stumbled into this was, when we moved to Arlington, Texas, super low income neighborhood, apartment complex, first generation immigrants. Mom was a janitor. Dad was truck driver, just grinding it out, paycheck to paycheck. All the kids were outside. So in those, it's like the parents are working. Everyone's just get out the house. So everyone, like all kinds of cultures, right? So I mean, I'm probably the only white kid in the complex. So I got a buddy, who he kind of headed up like a little breakdance group. He was like 2 years older, so he lived kitty corner from my apartment, and I just thought he was the coolest dude ever. So I just linger around, and he taught me a couple of pop and lock moves, right? So he taught me how to kind of moonwalk and side slide, and he taught me how to kind of wave through my arms, So I remember there was a party, and I just was in the corner on myself, just practicing. Everyone was doing, it was oblivious to it. I'm just practicing these moves, right? So, and then it kind of took off. So I have a little bit of natural rhythm, but then I'd watch YouTube videos and I'd learn new stuff. I learned to crump, and it was all hip hop because that's all we listened to. So I got super into it. But yeah, so I now it's like a hidden talent, right? So I got this thing where it's you wouldn't think, but I'm not sweet, but I'm above average.
Yeah, they said, because I asked the question, does anybody, first the question was Coach Manning, which the answer was no. The answer was no. But then it was wait a minute. Tervel can go. They said he can go. And I went, oh, this is a whole new frontier for me now. It explains so much. So, Austin, I bring you in because I just need to point this out. Austin, would you consider yourself a dancer? Coach, you see this guy, right? You see this guy, right? Right?
I would not.
Right? So when you find out that, and to have fans in the crowd call him the Bulgarian badass, right? And then you hear, hey, he can dance, right? And the national champion wrestler, the Olympic dude, is also a breakdancer or pop and locker. And I went, it explains so much to me now. I understand now. They follow you like sheep. And now I understand. He's the coolest guy in the room no matter what.
I don't know about that. I think it's the guy that is not ashamed of anything he does, and he's kind of eventually his cheesiness wins you over. I think it's that guy.
Yeah, I'm a member of that club. I fully understood the whole thing. But the idea of you pulling off a step up,
yeah.
that you being in the corner.
I watched all those movies. I dissected those movies.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. You mentioned your parents, and to me, I always find it interesting, fascinating, even to find out where people come from. Your grind would be surprising. That, as you described, mom's a janitor, that living paycheck to paycheck in basically the projects of Dallas Fort Worth. That is not where I would have imagined your background being. Is that an advantage for you? Because quite frankly, you've been through the grind.
Well, I mean, I think, perspective, right? So I definitely think it has advantages. I mean, I definitely didn't have a lot of things to be entitled about. So I think that's one of the, as a parent now, I think about my kids growing up, they got their white picket fence, they got their American dream. It's like, you want to grind to give your kids a better life, but to what end? Because now I almost think like, go do something hard. Like, your life is easy. Go suffer. Where it's like, I remember there was a moment in time where my mom showed me a $5 bill and she said, we have 9 days. This is what we have. 0 in the bank account. This $5, 9 days until dad gets paid. And it didn't mean, I was like, okay, whatever. And then I went outside. But now as an adult, I'm like, wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. Like, if I was in that situation, I would be very stressed. So, but you just experience life differently. Not a lot of entitlement, no name brands. Everyone had the Nikes. I had to pay less, stuff like that. Right.
We called them wolf dogs, man. We called them wolf dogs. Hey.
So I don't think it's like exclusive, but I do think that there's like people that have experienced that, and it doesn't take them on a path like, and then something enters their life that gives them an opportunity. Right. Mine was wrestling. And that's why, going back to sports and why they're so special is because it's the cleanest, most consistent way to get someone out of that life. Right. Because it was going to be hard for me to write a book. It was going to be hard for me to ace all my exams and get into Harvard. It was going to be hard for me to just pull myself up by my bootstraps. But I was pretty good at this thing that got me a college scholarship, right? So that was very grateful for everything. Anyone that wanted to help me, I listened. So I never was like, I got this. So I do think it has its advantages. It gives you a worldview that some people miss when they have everything. Do I recommend going through it? Maybe not, but maybe there's a mix in there somewhere.
It's the same thing. My daughter and I have that conversation as being last generation poor person, right? Right. And to say, okay, I went through mine so that you don't have to, but you got to figure out how never to take us back and to go through it. But I think a big part of it is the partner. All right, the partner you choose in your life. And it has to be somebody. So let's talk about the missus, because I would imagine that the story is pretty remarkable. I've heard the story, but I need for you to tell the story of your first date.
Well, I mean, okay, so like, and all the things that around it, that was the drama. Okay, so our first date, so we were long distance. She was still finishing up school in Kearney. Her name's Kirsten, by the way. And I was living in Cedar Falls. I was training at Northern Iowa my first year out. And so I have the Olympic trials that weekend in 2008. And I'm getting I decide like, hey, let's meet up halfway. Let's meet up. She was at Omaha for because she's at home. And I said, let's meet up in Des Moines. And it was the day before I left for the Olympic trials. And so we went to Texas Roadhouse and everything was normal. And it was all good. Great date. I mean, it was epic. She was smoking hot. I was balding less, it was all that. But here's the dramatic part was this. So obviously we're in the infatuation stage, so I don't want to leave, and I'm rationalizing like I'll be fine. So it gets pretty late, and I'm like, you know what? I have like a 5:45 flight. I was the new kid on the block. So Sunkist Kids was my wrestling club. They just picked me up. They were the one that were doing all the travel. So I'm new kid on the block. So they're flying me out the day of weigh-ins. So weigh-ins were the day before. I fly on the day of weigh-ins. Super early. I live about an hour 40 from the airport. So I got to get to the airport at 4:45 for a 5:45 flight. So I got to leave the house at 2. So in my head, I'm like, I get home from the date at midnight. So I'm like, I'm just going to stay up and play video games, pack. And then I just won't sleep. I'll sleep on the plane. So I do this. I get there. My flight's delayed a couple hours. I have some trashy airport floor sleep. I get there, take a nap. I think everything's fine. Make the wait. Have a great night's sleep the night before draws. First round, I wrestle this guy. Absolute heater. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm exhausted. Second round, my legs are dead. I'm up by 1. I'm stuck in concrete. Dude takes me down, beats me. On the backside, I lose my next match to a guy that I beat at the Open like 3 weeks prior. So I'm thinking, and it wasn't until years and years later. So I'm just thinking, like, I had a terrible weekend. Well, I just think, like a month later at the University Nationals, the guy who beat me on the front side of the bracket, I tacked him to make the team. So I'm thinking, like, man, why can't I do that like a month ago? And it wasn't until years and years and years later that I'm like, you know what? Not sleeping 2 nights before might have affected my legs a little bit. I don't know. So I couldn't I was thinking that I was all technical, like, man, what could I have done? Feet in the wrong place, arm in the wrong place. Did I do it wrong? Did I miss it? No. What about that no sleep thing?
That might be, and I would imagine that always comes up in your head with the young guys. That listen, I know you think everything is new to us old guys, but we were there when the playbook was written. We like every stupid thing that an athlete can do, the coach has already done.
Yeah, unfortunately. But isn't that's the goal? Is like, I do dumb stuff and I tell you about it with the hopes that you don't have to. You could laugh at my dumb stuff and avoid it.
They have no, they have no desire to listen.
They got to try it out, right?
It's always like, this is this particular group, and they talk about the family aspect of this thing. Coach Manning talks about it. The athletes talk about it. You have this interesting sort of balance that you have to create, right? As you said, you got the smoking hot wife, you got kids that lean on you and think you're Superman. And you have to take care of that. And then you have this family of young men who are just hanging at your ankles like your sons, just trying to figure out what's going on. What is balance for you? How do you figure out first thing first that day?
I mean, I don't know if I delve that deep. I kind of try to deal with what's in front of me. So obviously my family's first. My wife is awesome. She's incredibly supportive. So she was with me. So the nice thing is I prepped her heavy early, because she was with me as a competitor. Like, I would spend weeks in Russia and she's at home, like no internet. Like, so she's like, I wonder if he's dead. I wonder if they harvested his kidneys. Like, I don't know what's going on.
They got him.
You know? So it's like, and then back then it wasn't like the organization on the internet wasn't great with the international wrestling. And so it's just like, hopefully his name pops up on the bracket, we'll see. So, and then when I started coaching, it's like, man, the coaching life, they're gone all the time. And she's like, yeah, it's not that bad. He's gone for a day or two on the weekends.
Yeah.
But it's like, she spent, the most dramatic was I spent 28 days in Russia. So I went Russia for 2 weeks, Ukraine for a week, Belarus for a week. By the end of it, I was like, I just crawl in the hole and die at this point.
Yeah, at that point. But that's the other part, is that you have to come back after being gone all that time, having emptied the tank, to come back to 3 people who are waiting for you.
Yeah. But it's great though, because I love my kids, and I just see, it's just so much joy. It's so much joy. So obviously physical energy, not great all the time, but sometimes I'm just a jungle gym. Sometimes they just jump on me, and they love it. So they'll figure it out, but they love being around dad, and I love them. So that like energizes me. That gives me incredible hope, incredible excitement. And then the same thing with these guys. So obviously it's a more mature level of that. Like when I see men figuring things out, life or sport, when someone has a breakthrough, there's like this intoxicating feeling, like on the support staff, where it's like, wow, like he broke through. And there's just this like incredible peace and fulfillment you get from, you know, having even a smidge of something that you did to help someone go from here to there. And it's just, there's nothing like it.
Husker wrestling assistant Tervel Dlagnev, and in that thing, that small thing, often with coaches, some of it's verbal, some of it's a physical touch to go, okay, let me rattle you a little bit, let me shake the tree. But I always found that every one of my athletes had a word that it's the last thing I say to them. That word is their trigger. It's the thing that gets them through. And not everybody gets that. Not everybody, like we think there's a whole lot of conversation going on pre-match, when in fact, probably closer to match time, less gets said because they're in their space. They're in their mental space. How much on the scale of how things are important, the physical side and the mental side, where do you put that marker? Is it 50-50 mental, physical? Is it for some? Because some are just physical specimens and it works that way. But some require a little nudge, a little poke from coach to get them over the hump.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't want to make it sound like I am a believer in that talent exists.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm not going to sit here and say like, round me up someone off the street, I'll turn them into a champion. Right. So talent exists, but once talent is accounted for, so once you're within the realm, so there are certain people that will never beat other people. Right. My dog died. My girlfriend broke up with me. My life's falling apart. You still can't beat me. Talent. But once you're in the realm, so you might not be able to overcome a massive amount, but once you're in the circle, right? So you can still be more talented than me, but once I'm within range, I can catch you with other things.
Yep.
Right. Whether it's work ethic, whether it's mentality. So once talent is accounted for, mentality is 90%. Now, but you do so if it's once physicality is important until you reach a certain line. Once you're over the line, it's darn near all mental, because that's how you catch people that are better than you, but that you still have the possibility of beating.
At this level, right? You're talking Big Ten wrestling, top level, and the upper echelon of the Big Ten, right? That's rare air. There's 4 programs that are in that space. Everybody else would like to poke their head in and breathe some of that in. But then in those matches, in those meets, it becomes a whole other thing of a small mistake, some recovery issue, there's such a small thing that defines the difference between number 1 in the Big Ten and number 4 in the Big Ten. How do you maneuver that?
I mean, with you try to drown the culture with the message, and you try to get these guys to pick up on it, because it really is. It seems like a lot of development, like there are developments that look like a hill. You know, you kind of small climb. You look back, you go, oh, that's a pretty big hill. I did it. But I would say at once you're in at this level, most development looks like this. No change. What's happening? No change. Aha. Right. So it looks more like a spike than it is a hill. So it's not like I got a little better and a little better and a little better. It's like this. I don't get it. Oh, boom. And so you're waiting for that moment. And so you kind of got to drown them in the message, remind them, challenge them, remind them, be specific when you see it. This is the moment. This is the moment. Last Friday, this is the moment that you sank. Use this moment, rehearse this moment, because this was the one, right? So you just had to let them see it and attack it from different angles. But the reality is, belief is so massive, because perspective. I mean, I do it. I'm coming up on 40. I still try to get in there. These kids try to kill me, but it's so different in my mind, in my own mind. It's like this. If I'm like this, if they're pulling on my head and I go, oh, my neck kind of hurts, let's avoid this. But at the end of practice, I can't feel my legs. I can't see straight. But if I come in with a day where it's like, I'm like your neck's going to hurt, but that's like, you got to toughen up. Like that's what we came for.
For them.
No, but even for me, like just to survive, Like this is like a low level. Like I'm not competing for anything, but even my perspective on a practice to help them, like they're going to pull your head. They're going to try to get you tight, but invite it. Like when your neck starts to get sore, sit in the pocket, breathe, and just enjoy it. And it's like, I still got it, but it takes an incredible amount of mentality to get me there. So it's like, I can't just autopilot it, but for them, it's like, that's the thing you got to realize is I feel it. I can be a slug or a champion and nothing changed. Nothing changed about my life. Just what I want out of this next 10 seconds and then the next 10 seconds and the next 10 seconds. But that belief is what we try to, it's so hard to believe. The hardest time to believe is when you don't have anything to tether your belief to, right? Some of these guys like, okay, that guy's a national champ. I'm not. How am I supposed to believe? And so that's why you try to shrink the moment. It's like, no, don't believe in beating them. That's too big. It's like, how could you ever that's a lie. If someone says, I knew I was going to beat him, that's a lie. Mm-hmm. That's just a t-shirt slogan. But what you say is like this, do you know how to make people tired? Well, yeah, well, go try it. Do you know how to finish a single leg? Do you know where to touch them? Do you know how to get your leg back? Do you know how to withstand discomfort, right? Like you try to shrink these battles into super finite, specific battles instead of just like, hey, go win, go get him. It's like, well, what do you mean? Like, look at him. Look at his resume versus mine. How am I supposed to believe?
There's so much depth in that. And you know, Culligan Jay's out here screaming. He goes, I need that last 2 minutes of what Coach just said on a loop. And it makes sense. We'll go to break when we come back. I want to talk about this particular group because senior day was exceptional. Great team performance, great access, lots of little things that came to fruition. As he said, it's the aha moment for some of the guys in realizing how good they are and how good they can be. Assistant coach Tervel will take us into the locker room and then take us on the mat on a senior night. What that means for 5 young men whose lives changed because of Nebraska wrestling. This is Takedown Tuesdays on the Ticket.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 18th is 15% off chocolates, 15% off wines and spirits, and $10 off filet mignon per pound. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100 and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with 0 down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of snow showers throughout the day. It'll be breezy and cold with a high of 0. Tonight, a chance of snow showers, otherwise cloudy and cold, a low of -7. Tomorrow, we'll keep flurries possible, otherwise decreasing clouds, continued cold temps, a high of 4 above. I'm meteorologist Kyle Hutt for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back to Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Takedown Tuesdays on The Ticket, DP. Coach Tervel Dlagnev, and we were talking about sponsorships and such during the break. Austin, let Coach know about one of our favorite sponsors.
That would be Stevens & Smith Construction, who sponsors Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling here on The Ticket. Stevens & Smith Construction is an employee-owned company that has nearly 250 employees and over 2,000 years of service combined between them. They lead the industry as a full-service concrete company specializing in residential and commercial foundations and flatworks. Locations in 3 of our favorite cities. Number 1 favorite, of course, being Lincoln, as well as Omaha and Kansas City. You can check them out at Stevens, STEPHENS, and Smith.com.
And I think they fall at they jump to the front of the line. The thing we're about to talk about, because your fans are just fanatic in full. Like wrestling fans here, man, they love you. They love y'all. I was blessed, and I'm saying this on air so that people can kind of respond and get themselves prepared. But I'm walking through, I clock in and I look, and Manning is standing inside the doorway, and he waves me in and he says, "Come go with me." And he took me to the locker room. He took me to the locker room before the meet. And it was, I became 10 years old. I was 10 years old, Coach. I got and you guys are in full game mode. You have the look of a bona fide killer. If the only thing missing was a raw steak, for you just to chew on. So I'm tiptoeing through. But then there's a moment, and I'm like, okay, I got to say something. The coach in me's got to say something. I give my little 30-second, and I want to get out of the way. I don't want to. And you guys grabbed me and said, "Nope, come with us on the tunnel walk." Now, let me tell you, I've been in buildings all over the world. I've never had the goosebumps I had Sunday, walking behind you guys as you went through that crowd of Husker fanatics. And it is so much magic. And I told Coach Manning, I think next year that you guys should offer this for fans that want to pay for the opportunity to tunnel walk with you. Because it was special. It was amazing. And then all of the things, I think somebody running out with a flag in front of you guys would do well. I would imagine there's tons of listeners that would love the opportunity. And then the other side, kudos to the senior staff, the senior class, and the staff in the presentation and the celebration of these young men. Great performance on the mat. 9 out of 10 wins, just exceptional along the way. And then a thing that wrestling does better than almost everybody else is that your guys, 90 minutes after the match was over, we're still signing autographs and taking pictures. Coach, that is some epic work that you guys are doing to get folks. And those young kids are grateful. So congratulations and well done, because that's pretty exceptional.
Awesome. Well, that's a really cool feedback. So obviously that's really important to us. And the fact that you see that is appreciated.
Well, I mean, the line is crazy. The line is crazy. And the guys are so good. And again, to spend that amount of time. But let's talk about these seniors in specific. 3 of them that spend a lot of time on the mat, and their faces are all over social media, but they've put in the work accordingly. Let's start with Caleb Smith, that young man from High Point, North Carolina. If I asked you to give an elevated pitch on how great that young man is, what would you say?
I mean, he's a special kid. Obviously, he loves wrestling, but I mean, beyond that, he's got an amazing faith that everything kind of generates off of, and he's a really good leader. So he's the kind of guy that steps into a room, reads the room, and then kind of takes charge. You know, he's gonna be incredibly successful in what he does. He's just very, very confident, but also a learner. So he's very special in when you tell him something, he makes you feel heard. You know, like he looks you in the eyes and he really ponders deeply any help you give him.
His family is pretty amazing, and that seems to be a constant for Nebraska wrestlers.
Yeah, I mean, we've been really blessed with great families, great men. And I mean, that's not that it's exclusive to that. Obviously, you can break a pattern, but having a great support staff is really, really helpful. You know,
another young man who is just different. And you guys do a great job of identifying these special human beings who happen to be amazing wrestlers. But Ridge Lovett is one of one. Like there's no Ridge has his own, he has his own rhythm, his own beat. What makes him special in your mind?
He has an incredible switch of balance, right? So there's this insatiable intensity that turns on when it needs to be on, right? So you can almost not talk to him at practice. Like he doesn't like frown, but his face is so incredibly stoic and intense that when you say something to him, you almost feel like, oh, sorry. Like you almost want to apologize because he like looks at you like, hurry up, I'm fighting. You know, so there's this incredible intensity that happens. And but a lot of people that I've known that have that, it just kind of like radiates into all their life. So they're kind of like socially awkward. You go to their house and they're eating nails and they have no friends, but it's all worth it because they want to be a champion. So they've written off friends and fun and breathing as long as they've written everything off because championship, but it's like Ridge can turn it off. And I think that balance makes him special. It makes him creative and it makes him very fun to watch because he can be an absolute savage in training and in competition. But then when you take him out, he can be goofy. He can be carefree. He can make fun of himself. He can be self-deprecating. He can joke about a loss. Like he's not like there's people, if you joke about it, if you remind them they ever lost, they'll never talk to you again. You know, don't ever bring up that man's name. He beat me in the 3rd grade. It's like Ridge is like, yeah, Ridge will be like, dude, that dude double-legged me off my feet. Woo, boy.
Right.
So he's just, that balance is very rare. And, having that switch, because some people are all or nothing. And I really believe balance is what we're chasing.
Were you better balanced or were you better with the hot button that pressed on and said, okay, now's the time?
Oh, I struggled with balance. Like I noticed it in Ridge because I didn't get it till late. I mean, up and through my first Olympic quad, I was Mr. Obsessed guy. And I thought if the more obsessed I am, give me the better chances. And I experienced that with a ton of anxiety. Like obsession will get you so far, but then at the highest level, it breeds anxiety. And so you start to get that well, why won't, why are my performances in competition different than my practices? It's like that. So as far, some people tap into obsession to spike early, right? It'll get you really far. So you're going to beat a lot of youth kids. You're going to beat a lot of high school kids. You might even get pretty far in college. But when you get to the cream of the crop, obsession breaks you down. And so you have to know how to turn it off. Like I'm in bed, tense. And then I take a breath. I'm like, I've been tense for 12 minutes thinking about it. It's just, so it wasn't healthy. And so when kids have it, I noticed it because I needed that.
But you wrestle 10 matches every week 1,000 times in your head.
Yeah.
Like you wrestle for them, you wrestle with them. Your hands during any match, you're just over there beating up ghosts, man.
Constant. I mean, it's very hard to not write yourself in the story. Like, what am I doing? What is this? You put yourself what do I say? So you're two-pronged. So one, the competitor in you is picturing yourself doing it. And two, the coach in you is, how do I get them to see it? So what's the drill? What's the talk? Is it give them time? Is it put your arm around them and love them? Is it somewhere in between? How do we move forward? Right. So you're juggling constantly.
To watch the interaction is probably the coolest part of proximity. It's just watching them watch you and watching you watch them, because in full. There were two young men that don't get a lot of hype. They didn't get a lot of live match time, but those are guys that stuck it out. I'm almost more impressed by them than the guys who get the pub, because they're not getting the payoff, but they stuck with it. They stayed with it. How do you coach the young men who make great practice partners, great teammates, great cheerleaders, but don't often get the payoff?
I mean, that's a tough one. And I think that there's no perfect way, because I mean, I could tell you the laboratory theory, right? The laboratory theory is everyone can get something out of it. And so there's the self-development piece where it's like you move the needle on being a tougher man. You move the needle on being more courageous. You move the needle on being more disciplined. You move the needle on, choosing suffering with the hopes that you can deal with unchosen suffering better. You can move the needle on, preparedness, mentality, accountability, all these things that you would say are virtuous things. And then if you hold yourself accountable to those things, you will eventually be better at no matter what you do. Because if you master discipline, then you can wake up early for a job. If you master, disappointment, like coming back from disappointment, then you're going to probably need that at some point in your life. If you master, patience, you're going to be a better husband. So all these things matter in every part of your life. So that's the laboratory theory. And that's what you say. And that's what you try to remind people of. The reality is it's really hard because our minds don't work in 10 years from now who I am. Our minds work from where's my current trophy. And so that's why those men, Tebow, Licking, Bubba, those guys, they should be commended because that's the thing is like they elevate the room. And so a lot of times what happens is you win everything in high school, you come to a Big Ten program, top 10. Oh my goodness. You put the graphic out. I'm a Husker. You come in. I'm an animal. Oh, I get my butt kicked. But it's my redshirt year. Who cares? Well, now you're not a redshirt. Oh, I got my butt kicked again. Okay. Well, now I'm a sophomore. Let me just collect the gear. Right. And so, but these guys did, right? Practice.
Well, you can't fake wrestling.
You cannot.
Like collegiate wrestling, you literally can't fake going out there and just getting twisted and bent every day for the duration of your career.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but you can try though. You sure can try. I mean, it's really hard, but the reality is this. If you attack something, the most developmental state of mind at any moment in anything is trying your hardest and failing. That's as developmental as you can be. So actually succeeding doesn't develop you. You just kind of actually got the prize. So the goal is succeed, but you don't develop when you win. You just win. That's like, we did it. So you didn't actually get better. You just did it. If you do really, really hard things, but you take shortcuts and quit, you don't get better. You put your head down. So now you're a faker. So the truest, most if you're talking about development, not actual goals and resumes and actually getting the thing you want, but actually getting better, the most developmental is this. You find something really hard and you try it with all your heart and you fight like an animal to do it and you still lose. That you get better from that process. It's a miserable process, but you get better from that. And so the kids that can go through that day in, day out with little to no feedback on like, well, okay, so you did that for 2 weeks, but now you get a big win. You did that for 2 weeks, but now you get a big, right? So when you don't get that big, when you just do that, it's something to be praised.
To go through the gauntlet that is every day and then watch your buddy go out there on the mat. Sometimes that guy on the mat is wrestling for you too, right? And I've heard that a bunch. But man, it's impressive, and it's a great group. And shout out to Bubba Wilson for being classy and how things are being done. Great family as well. I got to sit next to them a bit Sunday, so pretty cool stuff. We'll throw it a break. We'll come back. We'll close it out because I do want to talk about finishing the season and then preparedness for the Big Ten Conference Tournament, which is its own beast. And we will talk about finishing and keeping it a priority, and then preparing yourselves for the Big Ten Tournament. It's hairy times when it comes to Big Ten wrestling. DP, Takedown Tuesdays on the ticket.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of snow showers throughout the day. It'll be breezy and cold with a high of 0. Tonight, a chance of snow showers, otherwise cloudy and cold, a low of -7. Tomorrow will keep flurries possible, otherwise decreasing clouds, continued cold temps, a high of 4 above. I'm meteorologist Kyle Huck for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mulberry Barbecue now has a brand new second location to help all your lunch and dinner cravings. Stop by their newest location at 6125 Apples Way near Lowe's off of Highway 2. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burn-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Mulberry Barbecue open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway and now at 6125 Apples Way in South Lincoln.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard, increase security, and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And on behalf of the entire Koppel team, we would like to say thank you to all of our loyal customers and employees that have allowed us to become one of the most successful GM dealerships in the country for the past 50 years. So we are celebrating that with some huge discounts. Right now, we have up to $13,500 off MSRP or 0% APR on select new models, and new Blazer EVs are leasing for $279 a month with zero down. So check us out online at koppelcars.com. All deals with approved credit. See dealer for details.
In today's digital world, you can never be too cautious when it comes to your security. Cyber attacks are affecting more businesses every day. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we understand the stress and impact a cyber attack can have, not just on your bottom line, but on your ability to serve your customers and protect their trust. That's why we are passionate about safeguarding your business. From real-time threat monitoring to advanced security protocols, we help keep your data safe, allowing you to focus on what matters most. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Back to Takedown Tuesday with Nebraska Wrestling head coach Mark Manning, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Final segment, Takedown Tuesdays. Don't go anywhere. Teammates Tuesday. Demo and Asher in the building. Got a great leader from Lincoln Public Schools in that building that will join them from 5 to 6. I'm just fascinated. Okay, so I don't know what you can say and what you can't say, but I'm going to ask the question anyway because I'm built like that. And that's all right. So for all of the Husker fanatics in the day and age of transfer portal and NIL, et cetera, if there was a magic number that could end up in the Husker wrestling account that would allow Nebraska to take another step up in the rankings and to position themselves, is there a number that you could say? What are other top 5 programs spending to get where they are or to be who they want to be?
I mean, the numbers are going up. The bankroll of Penn State, Iowa, and Oklahoma State is significant.
So those 3 are literally the North Star for product and the amount of money spent on it.
The amount of money spent, because the reality is for wrestling, it's who you know, because a lot of it is going to be your fundraise money. So if I grew up next door to Elon Musk and we were best buds, I would probably have the best wrestling program, right? Because I would just say, but that's why, two part. So that's why I think hopefully at some point in this madness, they figure out if we're going to professionalize this, there needs to be a salary cap, because you can't, because I mean, if I'm a super big Titans fan,
mm-hmm.
I can't just call my buddy Elon and say, get me Josh Allen for $1 billion. You can't do that, right? because then it ruins the sport.
Right.
So if there's no accountability, you know what? Give me Mahomes. I hurt himself. Give me Al. I got $400 billion. So I'm gonna kick them each $1 billion. They're making $20 million. I got this. Well, you can't do that.
Right.
That's illegal. So I think unlimited money is tough in our sport. Those programs essentially, they're working on $5 million plus annual budgets. So in our sport, that's darn near unlimited money. Like when it comes to the numbers, at least wrestling is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's growing for some of the top end kids, but if we could hit an annual $1 million,
mm-hmm.
I think we could really move the needle of fighting for, because I think that we can win kids over if they're getting offered 3 and we offer them 1. But what we have,
mm-hmm.
we can win. But if they're getting offered 3 and we offer them 0 with what we have, it's a really hard fight. It's a really hard fight. So you have to show them that you love them through this fight. And those are maybe the numbers aren't even that big. Like maybe 170 is probably the more. It's like, well, this goes off me 100. okay, well, we can give you 60, we can give you 50, but come touch it.
Yeah.
Come experience it. And then they go, okay, like the life change isn't in the extra 50. That's like a nicer car and a cooler apartment. But it's like the life change is in the experience, right? So and you can't say that for football and basketball because they're throwing out life-changing money, right? If you tell a kid, come experience college, it'll change your life. And then someone says, come receive $5 million, it'll change your life. It's like, okay, that's $5. I mean, I don't know what you do. It's like, oh, how can a father or mother say, go to the school, have some integrity, and go for free. Go for free. Like, so, I mean, you know, like it's really hard to go. Don't they have similar stuff going? Like, can't you find joy in the $5 million institution? But
we're looking at this wrong, Mom and Dad. This is like I think, and when we have these discussions, I think of, and then we'll get out of here and set up Demo and Ash. But it makes me think of, Brock Hardy and his family, great folks, loyal, character, integrity, all of those things in play. That is what a Nebraska Husker wrestler is. That makes sense. And to celebrate him makes sense because he stayed and he could have chased.
I mean, all of our guys. I mean, honestly, it's that's why our model is what it is, right? I mean, it's like everything is going all hands on deck to support men who chose to come and do it in the Husker singlet. So it's really cool. I mean, we just have an awesome group. I mean, I just respect all these guys. They're just great people. So I love them.
That part that you won't find a bunch of coaches that will put those words together about their young men. So thank you for doing that because that's going to knock down some balls as well.
Awesome.
So Tervel, man, anytime. We got to get you in here more often, brother. Yeah. You're the goods.
Appreciate
You're the goods. Austin Orman running the board. He'll take you up. Demo and Ash coming up Teammates Tuesday here on The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete